Pourquoi à tous les années, en hiver, les laitues romaines ont toujours un rappel? Pourquoi les laitues romaines et non les autres types de laitues?
We are constantly being urged to eat more green, leafy vegetables. That's justified for good reason. They contain all kinds of beneficial vitamins and minerals. But there's also a risk, and that is evidenced by the recalls that we have recently experienced with romaine lettuce. The issue is a particularly nasty bacterium, E. coli 0157H7. And this can cause diarrhea, vomiting, fever, in some cases kidney disease, and rarely even death. The question is, where does this bacteria come from? It is known to inhabit the guts of animals, cattle, pigs, goats, even birds. And while these animals are unaffected themselves, they can pass the bacterium on through their feces. And if that fecal matter gets into agricultural water, that can contaminate the soil from where the bacterium gets into growing plants. Or, of course, if the water is used for watering the plants, it can taint the surface. Any fruit or vegetable that is grown above the ground is less susceptible to such contamination. But leafy vegetables, of course, can be contaminated. Now, romaine is no more likely to be contaminated than spinach or kale. It's just that we eat so much romaine and so much of it is grown that just statistically it is more likely to affect people. Then there's, of course, the problem that we eat romaine lettuce raw, whereas spinach is often cooked, and heat destroys this bacterium. Chopped lettuce is also a reason for concern, because these days the lettuce that is grown in many different farms is often pooled. And if there should be one batch that is contaminated, that can contaminate all of it. And even though there's sanitization and the lettuce is washed, it still can harbor bacteria. So chopped lettuce is probably somewhat more of a concern than whole leaf lettuce. Also, remember that with iceberg lettuce, for example, it's very common to discard the outer protective leaves, and that is not done with romaine lettuce. And there's also some concern that the funnel shape of the romaine lettuce may be more conducive to harboring bacteria. You are no more protected by organic lettuce because agricultural water can be contaminated with feces anywhere. But hydroponically grown lettuce is somewhat safer. Well, actually, it is certainly safer because they use just regular water to irrigate, and that, of course, is not contaminated with fecal matter. They essentially use tap water. If you really want to be extra safe at home, I mean, obviously all lettuce should be washed, but if you really want to be extra safe, you can make a dilute solution of water and vinegar and soak the lettuce leaves in that before drying them and eating them. But don't get too worried about all of these recalls because the frequency actually, in comparison to the amount of leafy vegetables we eat, is very low. So take care, wash your lettuce very well, and don't worry about eating romaine. But of course, if there should be a recall, do abide by that.